Production support for the Friday Zone is provided by Smithfield Telephone Company, a locally owned business serving South Central Indiana since 1922, proudly offering unlimited long distance, cellular, and DSL. Smithfield Telephone, local pride, global technology. And by the Herald Times, featuring what's new at your child's school and schools around the nation. With education news and kids' views, the Herald Times. See what's in it for you. And WTIU members. Thank you.
Grab your mask and fins. We're about to explore life under the sea. Follow me.
You're not alone. You're in the zone. So hang up the phone and get in the zone. Get in the zone, the Friday Zone. You're in the zone, the Friday Zone. Everyone is invited to come. Everyone is invited to come. Everyone is invited. Get in the zone. Everyone is the Friday Zone.
Hi, I'm Katie. Welcome to the Friday Zone. Although the state of Indiana doesn't fall on the East Coast or the West Coast and isn't bordered by an ocean, that doesn't mean we can't explore life under the sea. My love of the ocean first began when I was a 5th grader. I remember doing my first sea creature science report as a student in Mr. Chris's class. Looking at photographs of dolphins and whales in the encyclopedia and other books at school, I wished that I could actually reach out and touch the sea creatures swimming across the pages. Recently, that wish came true. Allow me to introduce you to Nova and Chemo, 2 bottlenose dolphins I had the pleasure of meeting at the Indianapolis Zoo during our Friday Zone field trip. Tucked next to the Deserts outdoor exhibit and across from the Forests outdoor exhibit is the Dolphin Adventure, a very special indoor exhibit that you won't want to miss while visiting the Indianapolis Zoo. Crowds entering the Marsh Dolphin Theater each year can expect to not only be entertained, but to be educated about dolphins as well. While many zoo visitors enjoy watching the dolphins' athletic feats from a distance, it is possible to get even closer to the dolphins by participating in a special zoo program called the Dolphin In-Water Adventure.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It really is, to actually get outside your own little world, to enter into their environment. You're waist deep into their environment.
Excited by the prospect of interacting with dolphins, I left the Friday Zone and entered the Splash Zone. I traded in my street clothes for a wetsuit, a personal flotation device, and a pair of waterproof sandals. Shortly after descending the steps into the saltwater interaction pool, Linda gave me a lesson in recognizing the characteristics of mammals.
Characteristics of mammals are they have hair, and as you were looking, like no hair on these dolphins, but when they're born, they have a cute little mustache along their rostrum, falls out within a matter of days. They are warm-blooded. They give live birth. So they will have a belly button. So we ask the kids, where's your belly button? Well, same place on the dolphin. They also nurse their young, so they will have mammaries and nurse their young. And they breathe air.
And breathe air they do, not through their rostrums, but through a blowhole on their backs. Starting with their pectoral fins, Linda gave me another lesson, this time a lesson in dolphin anatomy.
As far as their anatomy, the only fins that have bones are the pectoral fins. And it's pretty amazing that from our scapula, which is our shoulder blade, all the way down, bone for bone, joint for joint, is exactly the same as the human arm and hand. So that's pretty fascinating. And it's with those flippers that they use those for steering and stopping.
From the pectoral fins, we moved to the dorsal fin.
On their back, they have their dorsal fin, and we speculate that that is for stabilization, much like a keel on a boat.
But my favorite part of a dolphin's body has to be the peduncle.
From that dorsal fin all the way back to the tail fluke is called the peduncle. I think that's a fun word, peduncle. It is basically the tail shank. It is one solid wall of muscle. With it, they can get up to speeds of 20, 25 miles an hour and jump and hit that ball, which is 18 feet above the water.
Although the anatomy of each bottlenose dolphin is pretty much the same, their personalities are very different. According to Linda, Nova, the adult dominant female dolphin I had the pleasure of meeting, has a much different personality than that of Chemo, the subordinate male dolphin in the pool with us.
Nova loves to be loved on. You know, food is secondary for her. Chemo, on the other hand, is very high energy, very athletic.
When training dolphins to perform certain behaviors, Linda and her fellow marine mammal trainers use a series of hand cues. Waist deep in water, Linda showed me how to do several hand cues, which asked Chemo to make specific sounds, including squawks and clicks.
We've captured these on hand cue, and the first one we did was called a squawk. It's simply the two fingers going back and forth, and that is their, "I'm so glad to see you. Where's my breakfast? I'm glad you're here. Let's get on with the program." That's an excited, "Hey, here I am." The other sound that we did was called a click, which is simply a C in front of the dolphin.
Chemo also performed his unique signature whistle on cue.
The other one that you referenced as their signature whistle, and this is quite unique, just in the way that nature provides that, you know, a pod of dolphins can be anything from 4 to several. And when you have that many animals and you got mothers and calves and you're covering, you know, miles of ocean at a time, it's easy to get separated. So what they have is called a signature whistle. It's as unique to each dolphin as it is our fingerprints are to us.
Linda then showed me how to use my hands to form a platform. Pushing against my hands, Chemo showed me a surprising move, which not only showcased the strength of his tail, but also showered me in salt water.
That is called a lob. And what that does is it illustrates the power of their tail. And by targeting their rostrum in your hand, it gives them something to push against.
After giving Chemo a quick hug, Linda and I moved from the water to a small dock, jutting out over a deeper part of the pool. Chemo was ready to show off some of his high-energy moves. After a quick peck shake, Chemo demonstrated a series of complicated moves, including an air spin, a double tail walk, and an awe-inspiring front flip, which earned him an especially large fish as a reward.
The fun one that people like is that front flip, where you actually have to get up and turn sideways to the animal, do your little front back, and that will send them on a 1.5 rotation. They'll come up and do a 1.5 rotation and go in nose first.
For those who can't meet the 4-foot 6-inch height requirement necessary to participate in a dolphin in-water adventure, the zoo has another option for people wanting to experience the dolphin's aquatic environment.
The dome is a unique opportunity to, again, be in their environment because you have them on 360 degrees around you and over the top. So if you go down in the dome, you're going to see them playing around on the top and watching you, and if you walk around, sometimes they'll follow you.
If your goal is to wade waist deep with dolphins and you'll accept nothing less, then Linda has an invitation for you.
Hey kids, if you want to have some of the fun that Katie had with Nova and Chemo, come on down to the Indianapolis Zoo. You can have the same up-close and personal interaction with Nova and Chemo, and it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
For kids hoping to follow in Linda's footsteps, I asked Linda to suggest several things kids could do to get started. Linda stressed the importance of taking care of one's pets, working hard in school, learning how to swim, and eventually becoming Scuba certified. Did you know that divers as young as 10 years old can be certified when following special diving rules and restrictions? Here to tell us more about the opportunities for young divers and divers of all ages are my next 3 guests. Please welcome Mark Brooks, Manager and Vice President of Southern Indiana Scuba, along with diving instructor Bill Perry and his son Liam. Welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
So glad you're here today. So I understand that your dive shop offers several opportunities for young divers. So tell us more about those.
Okay, with the young divers, we got an opportunity starting as young as 8 years old.
8 years old.
They can do what's called a bubble maker. It's an opportunity to come in. We have gear of smaller size for them so they can swim around in scuba, just do a Discover Scuba, inhale, exhale. Then they have a little bubble maker sticker and stuff to go with that.
So it kind of gets them used to it.
Right.
Okay.
Then steps up to SEAL Team for somebody who's saying, gee, you know, I kind of like diving, but I want a little more experience. SEAL Team has aqua missions they accomplish underwater and everything and gets them ready for the open water course.
Sure, and also sounds very exciting.
Oh,
SEAL
it is. It is. And then the next one would be the Discover Scuba class, and that's for all ages. And in the Discover Scuba, we put you in all the scuba gear you'd use out in the ocean, put you underwater, teach you how to swim around, inhale, exhale, and have a good time diving.
Sure, and I actually had the chance to participate in your Discover Scuba class, and we are actually one of the local pools. So tell us where you do your sessions.
Okay, we actually have a couple of 3 places we do them. We do them at the Spencer YMCA, which is a new one for us. We also do Edgewood High School as a pool. And then during the summer, we work Bloomington Parks and Rec in their pools.
Oh, very exciting. Now, we've got some of the gear here that we actually used during Discover Scuba. So tell us a little bit about the equipment that we've got here.
Okay, the green pretty they painted up thing, that's the tank.
Okay.
That holds the air. Everybody says, gee, that's your oxygen bottle. No, that's just the air you breathe out of the air. It's just been filtered and dried. Then in front or to the side of that is the BCD, the buoyancy compensator device. That is how you get neutrally buoyant underwater. What I tell all the divers is they're learning, we're going to teach you to fly like Superman underwater. You know, underwater you can take that, put a little air in it, and fly around a room. And that's what we teach them how to do it.
And then we've got the fins and the mask, right?
The fins and the mask. The mask, people go, well, what's the difference in a scuba mask and a snorkeling mask and swim goggles? Well, the biggest difference in a mask is you want tempered glass, good quality glass, so when you go underwater, it works and performs for you real well. And so as they're looking, that's the important thing with that. Make sure it gets a good fit for you.
Definitely, and I also got to wear the regulator, which we'll see in just a minute. Well, let's take a closer look at my first scuba diving attempt during our zone investigation. Although I would have much preferred to learn to scuba dive in the warm waters off the Florida Keys, the cold, chlorinated waters of the Edgewood High School pool had to suffice. Sporting a borrowed wetsuit, I struggled into my fins. Note, fins are what divers wear on their feet, not flippers. According to those at Southern Indiana Scuba, flipper is a dolphin that can be seen in TV reruns. Before I could put on my face mask, it had to be defogged with a little help from Deborah Blessing. With my mask in place, I slipped into the water. James Nelson, my instructor, was waiting for me in the shallow end. He helped me tighten the straps on my mask to ensure a good seal and held the vest and my buoyancy compensator as I shimmied into it. After fastening the straps on my vest and pulling my air tank tight to my body, James introduced me to my regulator. Once I was used to breathing in and out through my mouth using the regulator above water, James showed me how to breathe underwater by submerging just my face below the water. Once I was comfortable breathing underwater through the regulator, James asked me to sink to the bottom of the pool and to kneel on the tile. I had one problem, however. No matter how hard I tried to rest on the bottom, I kept floating. So we went back up to the surface to add some lead weights to my vest. Properly loaded down, James gave me the signal to sink below the surface of the water again. After kneeling, James asked me to lie on the bottom with my arms and legs out. From there, James gave me the hand signal to kick my feet. With James by my side, I circled the shallow end. Acting as our underwater photographer, Deborah swam alongside us, documenting our underwater adventure. Back at the starting point, we popped our heads above the water. James congratulated me for completing my first successful scuba dive. After several more trips around the shallow end, James and Deborah decided that I was ready to explore the deep end. Before descending into deeper waters, James taught me how to pressurize my ears by plugging my nose and blowing gently to equalize the pressure. Although it would have been cool to swim past coral and tropical fish, swimming in the deep end was pretty awesome. When my legs grew tired, I swam back to the shallow end. After thanking James and Deborah for their help, I shed my sea legs and headed for dry land. Now that you've seen how a novice like me can participate in the Discover Scuba program, let's learn a little bit more about scuba from our experienced divers. So Bill, tell me, how long have you been diving?
I've been diving for just over 4.5 years.
And you're also an instructor, is that correct?
Yes, I've been an instructor for just over 2 years.
Okay, and you were actually in the pool with me when I was having my Discover Scuba session, working with a young diver.
Yes.
Definitely. So Liam, you're also a diver too.
Yes.
How old were you when you started?
I first tried it when I was about 9, but to actually get certified, I waited until I was around 11, and then I really got serious with it.
What's your favorite thing about diving, Liam?
Just the stuff you'll see underwater, the fish, the coral, it's really just amazing.
Now, Bill, what are some of the places that you and Liam, where have you gone diving?
Together, we've been diving out in Seattle.
One of
here
my
in-
favorite places.
Here in Indiana, and we took a family trip to Mexico just after he was certified.
Wow, so you can go to exotic locations, but also here in Indiana. Where in Indiana might you be able to scuba dive?
Well, there are a lot of good places within about an hour's drive of Bloomington. You can go to Blue Springs up in near Indianapolis. You can go over to Linton. There's a quarry there where you can go diving. So it's surprising how much you can find locally.
Now, Liam, you know, if you had friends who have not gone scuba diving, or if you have, you know, kids at school that you know, I mean, what would you tell the kids to get them interested in scuba diving?
Again, probably just if you go somewhere good, you will see just the most amazing things. But other than that, just the fun of being underwater where no one else has really gone before.
It feels kind of like undiscovered territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with your gear and your regulator and your buoyancy compensator and all that, is it tough? Do you get tripped up in it?
Not when you're underwater, but when you're on land and you have to carry it down to the water, that can be difficult. But underwater, it's very effective at what it does.
And as long as you know how to clear your mask and equalize your ear pressure, then it's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Bill, do you have any other suggestions for young divers if they want to get started? What should they do?
I definitely recommend doing a Discover Scuba first, just to make sure that you're actually going to enjoy it, and then you can work up to taking the actual open water class.
So you can tell that it's a hobby that is actually for you.
Yes.
I got it. And so, Mark, I am ready to go to Grand Cayman with you on your next dive, so I will happily pack my gear and go along.
Come join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, if you're not quite ready to try scuba diving, but you have watched Pixar's animated film Finding Nemo, you probably know that Dory and Marlin had a run-in with a blue whale. While Dory tries communicating with the whale, Marlin's afraid that the whale will mistake them for a tasty snack. Dory reassures Marlin that whales don't eat clownfish, whales eat krill. Get ready to learn a little bit more about how and what whales eat with the help of former host Holly Gregory and her young assistant from Wonderlab.
Very lucky today because Eamon has come in from Wonderlab Museum of Science, Health and Technology. And Eamon, what are we going to do today?
We're going to study about whales and what they eat and how they eat and all that stuff.
Exactly. Okay. So, how do whales eat?
Well, they use this stuff called baleen, which is made out of the stuff in your fingernails and hair.
And it's keratin, right?
Keratin.
Okay. So this stuff is made out of the same stuff that our hairs and nails are made out of, right? Okay. And this is inside a whale's mouth? Yeah.
And for skimmers, it's up closer to their mouth. And for bubblers and gulpers,
It's somewhere else?
it's
back
way,
further.
way.
Okay, we gotta back up for 1 second here though, Eamon. This is hairy. Are you telling me that whales have hairy teeth like this?
Well, not really teeth.
Aha, not really teeth, exactly. Okay, so this is, we looked up the dictionary, we've got two different ways to pronounce it. You say,
Baleen.
I say baleen, and it is the stuff that is inside, the keratin plates that are inside a whale's mouth, and they use this hairy bit here to catch, what are they gonna catch? It's probably turned this way, actually. What do they catch?
forget.
Little
It's
animals, right?
krill.
Krill, right. Okay, so what we did, because we couldn't actually go underneath the water in the Friday Zone, we went online to find some pictures of stuff, right? And we went ahead and take a look at this, Eamon. We found this is what krill looks like. It almost looks like a little shrimp or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's really tiny, right? So take a look at this. You can see somebody's holding it. That's a whole bunch of krill in the hand, right? So that's probably why they need that hairy stuff, right?
Because kind of catches it right there.
Right, exactly. Okay, so what kind of whale uses baleen and how do they use it? What are we going to talk about first?
The kind of whales that use it are bubblers, skimmers, and gulpers.
Okay, and we're going to talk about skimmers first, like these guys, right? So this is the right whale, right?
And the bowhead.
And the bowhead or bowhead, right. Okay, so this is the baleen then that we've got right, you see right across there? That's the baleen that we've got in the mouth, right? Okay, so show me how we're gonna show you guys how they skim, right? Let's go for it.
So we're gonna put some of this garlic stuff in there.
Yeah, these are just spices, but this is gonna be our krill, right? So this Italian seasoning for today is krill.
Krill.
Okay, pretend krill.
Okay, so for the skimmers, we're gonna slide the comb across the water and catch all of this stuff in there.
Aha.
And we're gonna put it on the skimmer's towel, see how much it got.
See how much they caught. Okay, so that baleen or baleen skims through the water as the whale swims, right? And it swims through that, and it's gonna catch it on those keratin plates, and then it's gonna eat it, right?
Okay.
Okay, what's the second one? We got skimmers. What's the next kind?
The next one is gulpers.
Okay.
And
a blue whale is a gulper, right? Okay, so this is the blue whale here. You can kind of see those bubbles coming out. Show me how that would be. What's that whale doing?
okay, we're gonna take this little bag, open it up if I can, and I need you to hold the comb up
Okay.
right over there.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take this and go all the way through it,
So it gulps in a big bunch of water that has krill in it too.
and then we're gonna empty it out on the comb,
So does it spit all that water back out?
yeah, but it keeps the krill and the food
Okay.
right,
all right.
back in there.
Okay. Cool. So all the krill is still caught in the baleen, but what it does is it gulps it all in and then spits it back out and keeps that stuff, right? Okay.
So
And what's the last kind? Or one of the last kinds that uses the baleen?
the bubblers, and what we're gonna do for
Bubblers.
this is, why don't we put some more of that garlic stuff on there?
Okay, put some more in. Okay, and I'm clicking to our humpback whale, because a humpback whale is a bubbler, right? Okay. Show me what a bubbler does.
I need you to do this also.
All right.
We're gonna blow in here and make all the stuff go to the middle. Don't inhale, make sure you don't.
Don't inhale. Nice tip, Eamon. Okay. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, almost tip the
Okay,
table over.
so this does, more than one whale does this at once, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they
Way
come
more.
and they bubble. And they get it into the middle, and then use their baleen once it's in the middle to gulp that same way, right?
Yeah, and it's
If you don't have plans for splashing in the waves with whales anytime soon, my next guests, Maya and Olivia, have just the indoor project to tide you over. Okay, ladies, we are going to be making a craft called a paper bag aquarium. And so obviously we are recycling some paper bags that you can get at any grocery store, right? And we did just a couple steps before you ladies arrived to be sure that we could show the fun part to the kids at home. But basically we just cut a frame in the front of the paper bag, and then on the inside we painted a piece of watercolor paper with watercolor paint and put a couple bamboo skewers in there for support, because sometimes the paper bags can get a little bit wobbly, right? So we have lots of art supplies here in front of us. So Maya, tell me some of the art supplies we have here.
Well, we have pipe cleaners, markers, pencils, glue, felt sticky things.
Craft foam, yes. All kinds of things. We've got some styrofoam balls, right? Some googly eyes and lots of glue, right? So Olivia, looking at all of this stuff, why do you think we have so many things for you to choose from?
Because there's sort of a variety you can do, make it your own.
Exactly. And so if you're not an artist, like I'm not really an artist, not very good at it, I don't think. Sometimes I like to use clip art, which you can find free clip art online, or there are books with clip art. So we have some shells and some fish and some of those things. Or if you're more of an artist, like I think you are, right, Olivia? You'd like to do some freehand drawing of fish and dolphins and all that, you can do that too. So pretty much you just have to come up with a game plan to decide how you want to decorate your paper bag aquarium. And you can decorate the edges so it looks like the bottom of the sea, or the inside, make some sea creatures. On the example that my wonderful friend Bridget made, we have a octopus with pipe cleaner legs, and we have some fish kind of swimming around. So it's up to your creativity. So what do you think you guys want to start with? Pick something out here that you want to start with. I think I'm going to go for the no fishing sign, but you guys choose what you want to start with. I'm going to start decorating the edges. And you go ahead and figure out how you want to start yours, because obviously each one of ours is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and pick up any supplies you need, you want to start with. There's no one right way to do it. So Maya, if you were to put a sea creature in there, what do you think you might put in your paper bag aquarium?
I don't know, maybe some fish.
Some fish.
A dolphin, maybe
dolphin.
a mermaid that don't exist,
Ooh.
but
I like the mermaid. This can be as fanciful or imaginative as you want, right?
Yep.
So if you want to put a mermaid in yours, you certainly can.
I'm gonna do that.
You gonna put a mermaid too there, Olivia?
Yeah.
And recycling is always really good for the environment when you're doing
Yes.
craft projects.
Yeah, so because we're recycling with these bags, we're actually doing a favor for the earth too, right? Mm-hmm. Definitely. So you can use your markers. If you have things at home like crayons, you can do that. It's totally up to you. Now, Olivia, have you ever swum in the ocean before?
Yes. When we go on vacation to North Carolina sometimes, and I swim in the ocean there. And I've been to Florida, I think, a few times.
Oh, I'm jealous. I've never been to Florida. Well, if you want to make this look like maybe one of the beaches you've been to, you can, but you don't have to. You can make it totally out of your imagination. Takes a little bit of time, so we're going to get working on those. And you just use your creativity. I'm going to put my little no fishing sign right over here. And then we'll keep working. Working with some craft foam over there, Maya. I like it. All right. Well, we don't have an ocean nearby, but we do have a man-made water system within driving distance. Let's learn a little bit about the Central Canal and the History Zone. While driving through Indianapolis, Indiana, take care not to miss the historical marker that sits near the Central Canal behind the North State Office Building on Senate Avenue. As part of Indiana's 1836 Internal Improvement Act, the Central Canal was established and built by laborers as a link in the transportation system connecting the Wabash and Erie Canal with the Ohio River. The Central Canal was not completed due to the state's bankruptcy in 1839. Today, the Central Canal currently provides hydraulic power, fresh water, and recreation opportunities for Indiana's residents and visitors. Blue and gold and built to last, historical markers showcase Indiana's past. With that, it's time to say goodbye for now. I'd like to thank underwater experts Mark Brooks, Bill Perry, and Liam for introducing us to the wonders of scuba diving. Maya and Olivia have made some beautiful aquariums today, and they're still working. Be sure to take what you've learned here in the zone and make it your own. I'll see you here next week. Okay, so tell me about your sea angel over there, Maya.
It's just a little,
Have a little halo over there?
yes.
And the wings. And a smile. You got some blue too? What are you working on, Olivia?
I'm just working on my little octopus.
Your octopus. Should I make one of those too?
And
It'll be a blue spark with that snap.
Yeah.
Love that snap. And it's flying.
I am.
So you're going to name that from of your aquarium?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have ever done a sea creature report?
No.
When I class, my kids do sea creature reports, and so they make these aquariums, and they had to write a report and put it on the back. So they pasted it on the back, and then they read the reports, so all the kids got to see their sea creature. What kind of things do you learn about science?
We're just learning about like nature and stuff.
Are you doing sea creature stuff? Production support for the Friday Zone is provided by Smithfield Telephone Company, a locally owned business serving South Central Indiana since 1922, proudly offering unlimited long distance, cellular, and DSL. Smithfield Telephone, local pride, global technology. And by the Herald Times, featuring what's new at your child's school and schools around the nation, with education news and kids' views. The Herald Times, see what's in it for you.